Have you ever wondered about the lesser-known aspects of slavery? Today, we're going to reveal 10 astonishing facts about slave breeding that were rarely discussed in school. Fact 1. Slave breeding, a lucrative business. Imagine the audacity and sheer greed of those slave owners who treated human beings as tradable assets. They saw enslaved individuals as nothing more than a means to increase their wealth. The breeding of slaves became a calculated strategy to ensure a constant supply of laborers without the need to purchase new ones. It was twisted and inhumane. Business model. By breeding enslaved individuals, they could maintain and expand their workforce while minimizing their expenses. It was an appalling business model that treated human lives as nothing more than tools for profit. I am sure it is amazing for you, so prepare for an emotional journey as we explore the heart-wrenching reality of families torn apart and the insidious web of forced relationships in the world of slavery. Fact 2. Family separation and forced relationships. Slave breeding led to the cruel separation of families and forced relationships. Slave owners showed no regard for the emotional well-being of enslaved individuals. Husbands and wives, parents and children were forcibly separated, and slave owners often paired individuals together to produce offspring with no consideration for their consent or personal feelings. Let's journey into the life of a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a loving wife and devoted mother who found solace in her family's embrace. But her joy was shattered when a slave owner, driven by profit, sold her husband to a distant plantation. Sarah's heart shattered as she watched her beloved partner disappear into the distance, their love forcibly torn asunder. And then there was Samuel, a young boy whose laughter once filled the air. One fateful day, he was cruelly ripped from his mother's arms, sold to another plantation, and thrust into a world of unfamiliar faces. The story of Anna and James reflects the countless enslaved individuals who were thrust into forced relationships. They navigated the depths of despair and sought solace in one another, their resilience shining through in the face of unimaginable circumstances. This does not end here. Let's discuss the impact on slave women in the next fact. Fact 3. The impact on slave women. Fact number 3 takes us into the heart-wrenching reality of the breeding system, the immense burden placed upon slave women. In this dark chapter of history, slave owners mercilessly targeted women, recognizing the power they held to increase their wealth and assets. These women, stripped of their autonomy, became victims of a system that commodified their bodies for profit. Imagine, if you will, the unimaginable plight of these enslaved women. They lived in constant fear, with their bodies subjected to the whims of their captors. Their futures were not their own, as they faced the relentless threat of sexual exploitation and forced pregnancies. The suffering they endured was unspeakable, leaving scars both physical and emotional. Prepare to delve into the disturbing realm of fact number 4, where we uncover the unsettling truths behind selective breeding and the twisted grip of eugenics ideology. Fact 4. Selective breeding and eugenics ideology. Selective breeding and the influence of eugenics ideology indeed played a disturbing role in the practice of slave breeding. Within the warped lens of pseudoscience, some slave owners subscribed to a twisted version of eugenics, which sought to manipulate and control the genetic makeup of the enslaved population. In this perverse interpretation of eugenics, enslaved individuals were seen as mere objects whose value was solely determined by their physical attributes or perceived intelligence. Slave owners would intentionally pair individuals based on specific traits they deemed desirable, such as physical strength, endurance, or perceived intelligence. The goal was to produce offspring that exhibited these desired traits, with the intention of selling them at higher prices in the slave market. But our journey doesn't end here. Brace yourself for fact number 5, where we uncover the awe-inspiring stories of resistance and survival within the enslaved community. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Fact 5. Resistance and survival. In the face of unimaginable adversity, enslaved individuals demonstrated extraordinary resilience. They refused to let the system break their spirits, finding solace and strength in the bonds of family and community. These bonds became their lifelines, shielding them from the constant threat of separation and providing a sense of belonging in a world designed to strip them of their humanity. Enslaved women also resisted by controlling their fertility, sometimes resorting to the use of herbs or other methods to prevent pregnancy. With incredible resourcefulness, some women used their knowledge of herbal medicine and other methods to prevent pregnancies, reclaiming a semblance of control over their reproductive autonomy. Now we embark on the next chapter of our journey, fact number 6, where we explore the arduous path towards freedom and the remarkable milestones achieved in the fight against slavery. Fact 6. The impact on slave children. Slave children born through the breeding system faced a unique set of challenges. These children were often treated as property from birth and subjected to the same harsh conditions as their parents. They were denied the right to a normal childhood and often forced into labor at a young age. From the moment of their birth, these children were viewed as commodities, mere extensions of their slaveholders' property. Their very existence was shaped by the cruel machinery of slavery, denying them the joys of a carefree childhood and subjecting them to a lifetime of bondage. Denied the right to a normal childhood, these young souls were prematurely robbed of their innocence. Instead of experiencing the joys of play and exploration, they were thrust into a world of labor and hardship. They forced their tiny hands into tasks beyond their years, carrying the weight of responsibilities that no child should bear. We have the remarkable tale of Harriet Jacobs, an enslaved woman who, in her memoir, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, recounts her experiences as a child born into slavery. Her poignant narrative sheds light on the challenges faced by enslaved children and the enduring strength they possessed. Now we turn our attention to fact number 7, where we examine the ongoing legacies of slavery and explore the critical path toward healing and reconciliation. Fact 7. Dehumanization and the slave trade. Slave breeding dehumanized enslaved people and perpetuated the institution of slavery. Imagine being trapped in a system where your worth was solely determined by your ability to produce more slaves. This dehumanizing practice meant that individuals were forced into intimate relationships, their bodies subjected to exploitation to increase the slaveholders' wealth. By treating human beings as mere commodities, the practice of slave breeding further devalued the lives of those who were already trapped in an inhumane system. It reinforced the notion that slaves were nothing more than property to be bought, sold, and bred. Now, we embark on the next phase of our journey, fact number 8, where we explore the importance of remembering and honoring the victims of slavery. Join us as we uncover the significance of preserving their stories and paying tribute to those whose lives were irreversibly impacted by this dark chapter of history. Fact 8. Legal framework and mechanism of control. Slave breeding operated within a meticulously crafted legal framework, with state laws and slave codes providing the foundation for the control and exploitation of enslaved individuals. These laws, masked by the veneer of authority, entrenched the power dynamics of slavery and perpetuated the dehumanization of those in bondage. Under these oppressive laws, slave owners held dominion over every aspect of the lives of the enslaved. They wielded the authority to dictate and manipulate their reproductive capabilities, reducing them to mere commodities in the pursuit of profit. The control extended to determining who would mate with whom, treating enslaved individuals as nothing more than breeding machines. For example, in some states, such as Virginia, slave owners were granted legal authority to control the intimate relationships of enslaved people. They could mandate or prohibit marriages, separating couples at will. By doing so, they aimed to strategically manage the enslaved population and maximize the number of enslaved individuals available for sale. Such practices exemplify the callous disregard for the basic humanity and dignity of those held in bondage. Moreover, these laws and codes created a legal environment that enabled the systematic devaluation of enslaved individuals. They stripped them of their autonomy, reducing them to mere property and denying them fundamental human rights. Through this carefully crafted legal framework, the institution of slavery found validation and perpetuation, with the lives and bodies of the enslaved tightly regulated and controlled. Fact 9. Post-emancipation impacts. The impacts of slave breeding persisted even after emancipation. The traumatic legacy of forced separations and the post-emancipation era was marked by persistent challenges as African American communities sought to rebuild their lives and navigate a society rife with systemic racism. The trauma and disintegration caused by slave breeding cast a long shadow on their journey towards freedom and equality. The destruction of family units left a lasting impact on African American communities. It's important to acknowledge the historical context that shaped generations and understand how it continues to affect us today. Last but not least, the final chapter of our exploration is fact number 10. Fact 10. Unbreakable spirits and the triumph of freedom. Within the darkness of the slave breeding era, a glimmer of unyielding resilience emerged from the hearts of the enslaved. Their indomitable spirit ignited a flame of hope as they valiantly fought for their liberation. Facing unimaginable horrors, these courageous individuals displayed extraordinary acts of defiance and strength. Their rebellion, daring escapes, and unwavering preservation of their cultural heritage reverberated through the ages. Their unwavering determination laid the groundwork for future generations, fueling the civil rights movement and inspiring an ongoing struggle for equality. Their story is a testament to the unwavering power and unwavering spirit of the human soul. And there you have it, folks, 10 shocking facts about slave breeding that were often left out of the history books. It's crucial to confront these dark chapters of the past to ensure that they are never forgotten. Remember, knowledge is power, and by understanding the true extent of the injustices inflicted upon enslaved individuals, we can strive for a more just and inclusive future. Until next time. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon so that you will get a notification of new amazing hidden chapters of history. Thanks for watching.